take a minute to be honest with you guys. I was forgetting at least 2 things a day, whether it was where I set my keys, to respond to an email, to send a text, to make an appointment. It was getting out of hand. So when our sponsor Neurohacker sent us the Qualia Mind product, I thought, yes, I am going to try this. And I have to tell you, it is making a huge difference. I'm more focused on tasks. I have better memory. Things aren't feeling quite so out of control anymore. My mind is just more clear. So our sponsor, Neurohacker, has combined 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind. And it's been changing people's lives. I can tell you, for a fact, it has changed mine for the better. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on supporting mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have almost 3 months to try Qualia Mind at no financial risk and decide for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Give it a try. You have nothing to lose. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for up to $100 off Qualia Mind. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an additional 15% off any purchase. That's neurohacker.com/reps and use code REPS for an additional 15% off to experience life-changing mental performance from Qualia Mind. Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
I'd love to ask all of our listeners, what are you guys doing for Halloween? You guys are probably doing something way more fun.
Oh, they're definitely doing some more fun than me.
What are you doing?
Unless they're at work. I don't have anything planned, just hand out candy. And it's the first time since my kids were little that I don't have a full-on house full of people, spaghetti dinner. I usually have like that house where it's kind of everybody's hub. And I just make a huge spaghetti dinner and garlic bread and Caesar salad. And people come and go and then go trick or treat around our neighborhood. And I've done it since they were tiny.
And you even did it last year?
What did we do last year? Last year.
It was right after we went to Nashville.
I did. I actually did have people over.
Yeah?
Yeah. It wasn't as big as in the previous years, but my friend Anna came over, her daughter, Steven had some friends. And then the year before that, we did the same thing. And then in 2020,
oh, right.
I had a huge party.
Like, nobody can go anywhere.
So
I miss those days. I miss the days of that. You know, it's funny because like when you're in the thick of it, if our listeners, if you are like, you've got kids and not just like little kids, but like, you know, kids of all ages, it's like, there's so many years that go by that you're like, oh my God, like, you know, I've got to do the whole trick or treating thing. And and sometimes, it just gets a little bit much. If you're like us, like when our kids were little, they would, all of the grandparents expected us to stop by until we realized like the kids weren't even getting a chance to trick or treat. So we were like, screw that. Like if anybody wants to see the kids dressed up, you can come to my house. So it was the same thing. It was like, we'd do this big thing and then we'd go to like the neighborhoods that had, a lot of houses or whatever. Cause we always lived in houses that were kind of like out of the way. And I miss it so much. My kids are all so busy now. I am going to go to dinner with a couple of them, but, it's my granddaughter's first Halloween. And so we thought that we were going to walk around with her. Not like she can do anything. She's like not even 7 months.
Right.
But you just want to get her a little costume,
Yeah.
And they were like, it's too cold. So I think they're going over to, her mom's house. So I'm still going to maybe try to like bug him and be like, can I come by and see her really quick? I think she's going to be a cow or something.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
I know, she's just too cute. But anyway, but it's so funny because like for years, I would make like a big thing of, I would always do, because I was hosting so many people, like chili.
Mm-hmm. That's why I did spaghetti.
Yeah. And so it was like, and I had to make 2 different kinds of chili because I had vegetarians and vegans in the family, you know, it's Santa Cruz. And so it was like, there was the meat chili and then the other chili, and then like I'd make cornbread, and then, you know, we'd all eat and then we'd go do our walking. Well, I find out years later that nobody even liked the chili.
Such is a mom's life, right?
I know.
Like, you're like,
you didn't like the chili? I thought it was really good. Yeah, I don't like the chili. I think it was just like, I'm over exaggerating. I don't think it was everybody. I think it was my ex. And of course he didn't even tell me until I think we were like divorced or something.
Oh, well, he doesn't count then.
I know. Well, no. And then it was like a couple of the kids were like, yeah, we didn't like the chili. I was like, oh, well, thanks for telling me. You could have told me.
Right.
I ate it. Yeah. He like told me he wanted a divorce, and he was like, and I hated your chili.
I hated that Halloween chili.
Yeah, your Halloween chili sucked. Oh my God. You know, that's the thing too. You know, if you're out there and you're single, you got to really think long and hard about who you're going to have kids with and be attached to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because you never get away from it.
Never.
You never.
Even if you think you did.
Yeah.
You didn't.
And I would just say, like, you know, I've talked about this before. Like, I feel like Nico and I have done like a really good job of trying to make things really normal for the kids. Like, we still do Christmas together. We do birthdays together. We do, you know, not our birthdays, but like the kids' birthdays. I have him and his girlfriend over for dinner, you know, over. It's just one of those things. And I think I've talked about it before. I have to constantly like remind myself, like, this is just a few hours. You know, and we get along fine. It's just those little things that I shouldn't say that they're irrational. Like, I think it's very normal, especially like when you're dealing with an ex and like the new person that's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, I like his girlfriend a lot. Like, she's super sweet. Mm-hmm. She's super nice to my kids. And I don't know why, but like, and I was trying to explain this to my oldest daughter. I was like, the thing is, I know this isn't rational. It's not a rational thought, but it's like when I'm talking about something to my kids and she interjects as if she was there or something, or, you know, like I'd go up and like say like, oh, Jordan, you know, or Joey, how was your job interview? And it's like, oh yeah, Joey, his job interview. Like, she'll answer. And I'm like, oh,
that would rub me the wrong way.
It does, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't. She's a part of this family.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, I have to continually rationalize, like, that shouldn't bug me. And then like a part of me is like, is she doing it to bug me?
I wonder.
I'm just snorting away.
It's, you know, the thing is that like, at least you recognize it. At least you're willing to recognize it. And you're like, hey, I get that she's a nice person. She's good to my children. You know, she's polite to me, whatever. But I can totally see how that would be like almost just like nails on a chalkboard. And you're like,
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I was telling my oldest daughter, I was like, look, the thing is like, if anybody else said it, it wouldn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it's just really just, maybe it's my own irrational feelings. You know, I never act on them, but I do sit there. I mean, like, so I had.
Have you ever like, well, have you ever wondered, because my ex has a girlfriend now, a new one. And from what I understand, she's very nice and whatever. I've never met her. But I hope nobody's listening to this that relates this back to him and her.
I think we've learned that probably will. It's okay.
Probably will. That's okay. But I'm always like, I wonder just a little bit, like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you okay? Because, your choice is a little questionable.
I know. Well, this is the thing, right? I mean, I've been going through recently, like, I'm not me going through a breakup, but going through a very close friend's breakup.
Right.
And I've come to realize that I am very, very different from her. So I'm such a realist and a cynic and all these kinds of things. And I tend to be a little too honest about things. And because I think what kind of happens, like when you break up with somebody, is somebody instantly feel, or like, especially when they start dating somebody else. And especially like in my situation where we were together for so long, his girlfriend's quite a bit younger. I think she's only a couple of years older than our older kids, which does not matter at all. Like, I have no issue with that. Like, I know some people are like, oh my God, she's young. That is not an issue at all. And, I mean, if anything, I think like, good for him,
Right.
But it's interesting. Now I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. Oh my God. This has just been my day. I'm telling you, it was right there. Everyone's like, and
you're like,
and then I was like, oh shit. I totally forgot what
record scratch.
Yeah. Oh no, this is what I was going to say.
Got it. Okay.
I think it's funny when like an ex starts dating somebody, and I think anybody can kind of like relate with this, because I'm sure if anybody's ever been like, dumped or whatever, I don't know why people feel like they have to tell you that, it's not going to last. That's not like, you are so much better.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. I think it's probably going to last.
And you're like, I think
seem pretty happy to me.
Better, obviously.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want him back. But I just think that's so funny. And so, this girlfriend of mine, we're talking about it, and like something came up, somebody said something like that, and me and my big mouth, I'm like, they might end up being really happy.
Really? I know this. I know that these people you're talking about. Yeah. Does he have a new girlfriend already?
Yes. Good. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. And it sucks, and yeah, but again, people have the right to move on.
They do.
I know that
they absolutely do.
I know that when you're on the other end of it, it's like, it sucks. You're totally out. You're not in control of it, right? And right. I think that too many people get so focused on like either their ex or that new person or whatever, and they should. I mean, I think the best, if you want to call it revenge, is you doing you and living your best life. And I think you should fake it till you make it. I mean, that's just what I think. I mean, it's been so long now, so it doesn't even matter. But I think especially like when it's new, I think you just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
I think the more that it gets a rise out of you and you are upset and you're showing that you're upset and you're mad and all that kind of stuff, I think it just feeds into the idea that this person is so special, that it's affecting your life so much.
Well, it's almost like you, because you guys broke up for whatever reason, especially if it was very one-sided, like that person just decided that this wasn't the course for them, right? If you get really hyper-focused on it, you're like internalizing it as like it was something wrong with you, when really it wasn't. It was just not the right thing for the other party involved. Right. And so if you don't let that in and you kind of fake it till you make it, like you said, I think it's way healthier for you in the long run, because if you do let it in and internalize it as something being wrong with you, which is definitely something I struggled with, that shit will eat you alive.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, if you act on it, like say you, have bad behavior, like you may not think it's bad in the moment, that it's totally justified. I almost feel like I don't want to be ashamed of like how this is so stupid, how weak I looked at one moment. I want to come across, even if I'm not, I want to come across like I'm fine. I'm going to be fine.
Right.
And I think that it does, like, and eventually you will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've talked about this before, like breakups and all that. But yeah, it's just interesting, like the family dynamic and like, and, you know, getting back to like this whole girlfriend thing and like irrational thoughts and all this kind of stuff is like, you know, now there's grandbaby involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm, you know, I had everybody over for dinner for my youngest's birthday, and, you know, her dad and his girlfriend comes over, and, you know, she loves that baby, which, I mean, duh. I mean, everybody loves that baby, you know?
Right.
And so she's holding the baby. She's had the baby for like, you know, 20 minutes, and, you know, the baby's kind of getting passed around, and I get like this little tiny break, like maybe like 5 minutes, you know, while they're like barbecuing outside and I've got all the food ready. And my daughter-in-law is like, hey, do you want to hold her? And I was like, yeah. So I'm holding her. I've had her for maybe like 3 minutes. And she comes up to me, the girlfriend comes up to me and taps me on the shoulder and says, can I cut in on your dance partner?
Oh. And that's when you're like,
no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just kind of went,
of course you didn't.
No, I just kind of
I wouldn't either, but
I know. I just kind of like looked at her and I went, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, really? I've literally been able to hold my grandchild for 3 minutes. Like, can you not take her from me? And I kind of just looked at her and I went, okay. And like gave her to her. And I was like, oh no, now this is like a whole other thing. Now I gotta, you know, share this kid. It's just, I know. It's so stupid. You know? And really, you know, it's funny because I ran into this guy at the gym. And I think he's probably like around my age. And he goes, you know, I don't know if you heard, but, you know, he and his wife are splitting up. And, you know, he was kind of like, you know, you got to tell me, like, you know, how to get back out there. And I was like, well, first of all, you don't need to get right back out there.
Do you really want to?
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's just no rush. You know, It doesn't matter the age or whatever. Like, there's no rush. And I think a lot of people want to rush because they want to, like, I don't know, feed their ego in some way. Like their ego's been crushed and they're like, you know, I still got it. And, you know, whatever. You know, and
100%. Yes.
Yeah. And he was like, well, you know, you got any advice? I'm like, just don't use your kids against each other. Like, it's just don't do it. It's so bad. I mean, like, shit talking your ex to your kids is just the absolute worst thing you can do. And I know a lot of people out there, you know, if they've gone through something like that, you know, we all have our weak moments, but I don't know. I just think that it's such a gift you can give your children to not involve them.
I'm going to take a minute to be honest with you guys. I was forgetting at least 2 things a day, whether it was where I set my keys, to respond to an email, to send a text, to make an appointment. It was getting out of hand. So when our sponsor Neurohacker sent us the Qualia Mind product, I thought, yes, I am going to try this. And I have to tell you, it is making a huge difference. I'm more focused on tasks. I have better memory. Things aren't feeling quite so out of control anymore. My mind is just more clear. So our sponsor, Neurohacker, has combined 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Qualia Mind. And it's been changing people's lives. I can tell you, for a fact, it has changed mine for the better. The formula is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on supporting mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee, so you have almost 3 months to try Qualia Mind at no financial risk and decide for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Give it a try. You have nothing to lose. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/reps for up to $100 off Qualia Mind. And as a listener of Between the Reps, use code REPS at checkout for an additional 15% off any purchase. That's neurohacker.com/reps and use code REPS for an additional 15% off to experience life-changing mental performance from Qualia Mind. Yes, I agree. My experience was completely the opposite. And, in hindsight, and even conversations that I've had with him recently, it's like he apologizes pretty much every time I talk to him. Mm-hmm. And says, I wish I had done things so differently.
Yeah.
13 years later?
Hey, you know what?
At least
some people never get an apology.
At least we got there.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it takes a really long time.
He's a slow learner.
God, I know. And it's like, even in like situations like that, like my ex can do the bare minimum for my kids. Mm-hmm. And not that he's like a bad dad or whatever, but it's like the smallest thing. And they're literally like falling all over themselves. Like, mm-hmm. He's so great. It's like,
I know.
Oh my God. Like, okay. And you just keep your mouth shut. You just go.
You got to be like, I'm glad you're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you had a good time.
Right?
I'm glad you're happy.
Well, because this is the flip side too. Like, you don't want, even if they are a piece of shit, and I'm not saying my ex is, even if they are a piece of shit, you don't want your kids to think they came from a piece of shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's an extension of them.
Yep. I remember getting that advice early on, and they were just like, anything you say about him, they're going to see it as a reflection of them. And I was like, oh, okay.
I know it's so hard.
Okay. So I literally bought a punching bag for the backyard.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that.
And I was like, hey kids, I'm taking up boxing.
Yeah.
I would go out.
Just imagining it's your father.
Beat on that thing.
I know. Man, jilted women, watch out.
Right?
Yeah.
Hi guys. Welcome to Between the Reps.
Welcome to Between the Reps. The Reps.
Welcome it's just to Between the X's.
Between the X's. With Devin and Jeanna. Brooke cannot make it. She's still in Thailand.
She is still in Thailand.
We are,
But we're on the countdown. We have the last date of filming is set.
Oh, nice.
For November 6th. The way the weather works there, because it is kind of a rural shoot. That is, kind of could change, but hopefully it won't. And she will be home by the 10th of November. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And she was supposed to be there for what, like 4 weeks?
Originally it was set for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And then it turned into 3, and then most likely 4. And now she's been there.
Now she's a citizen.
Since she got there September. I got there the 9th. So she got there September 7th.
Yeah.
And but she's doing good. She's doing Muay Thai, which she's really enjoying. She talked about that on our last episode.
No, I know, but I thought you were going to say muy bueno. Doing very good.
But yeah, she's ready to come home, but she's also really loved it. Like I absolutely loved Thailand and Bangkok. Like I would go back in a heartbeat.
I've heard that.
And after our experience in Bali, we were both super, super nervous, and it's night and day. So she's doing good.
Good.
She's doing good. The people that she's working with are great. The project that she's working on is turning out great. I have gotten a lot of feedback already, and fingers crossed, this is the beginning of a new little chapter,
a new journey,
Brookie. Mm-hmm.
Well, we both know that she's talented as hell, so
I know she is.
Whatever she does, she's gonna thrive in.
It's exciting though, and they're good people. they're really good people. And she's just fucking killing it.
Dude,
Like,
I love hearing that.
Some of the higher ups that are working on it have gotten in touch with me and are just like, oh my gosh. And I said, oh, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know.
it's really
I can't
exciting.
say it's surprising to me.
But as soon as we can give everybody details, we will. As soon as we can. Can't give them yet.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Exciting stuff.
But yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So what have you been up to lately?
Nothing. Got back from Thailand and got really sick, and then have just been kind of trying to get back into, everyday life. And I really haven't done much. I've been kind of home and just trying to do my thing, but I am dying for a fun night out. And one of the things that I have, for whatever reason, on my like social media algorithm, I've been seeing a lot of stand-up comedians, like a lot of little skits. And I want to go to a comedy show so bad. Like, I just want to laugh, but I don't want it to be a super like political or like raunchy one.
Yeah.
And one of the people that keeps coming up is Matt Rife. Do you know who that is?
I feel like I've heard of him before. I don't know why. I'm going to look him up.
He's adorable. He's young. He's so pretty. Like, you would be a beautiful woman.
Love that.
But he's so cute. But he does this. He works the crowd in such a way that, like, he's so quick. I love watching him. He's got, and this is not a plug in any way, but he's got a Netflix special coming out on November 15th, and I can't wait. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see it. And I've looked for tickets.
Oh, he is pretty.
He's really pretty, right?
Very pretty. Mm-hmm.
But he's so damn funny. Like, someone from the crowd will yell something to him and he can just kind of like go back and forth, and
I am so jealous of people that are that quick.
Me too.
I'm not that quick.
You're pretty quick.
I'm not.
When you're on one, you're pretty quick.
Yeah, I probably have to be drunk, to be honest.
He might be. I've seen him hit an audience member's vape or like a weed pen before. There's this one clip of him. There's this one clip of him where he hits it and he, inhales, holds it in for a minute and exhales, and he goes, "Oh no." Have you ever instantly regretted something? And he's on stage. Yeah, I can relate. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love comedy shows.
Well, I go to a lot of comedy shows because of Daniel. My friend Daniel. So yes. he doesn't even ask me. It's like anytime he's getting tickets for one, he just gets them. And so I've been to so many comedy shows lately. Actually, we're going to Chelsea Handler this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. In San Francisco. And I just love her. I think she is
do too.
Her dry humor. I love dry humor.
I have listened to her books. All of them numerous times. And she is kind of the reason why I started writing my Should Have Swiped Left.
Yes.
And like kind of in the style that she wrote her books. I love that. Haven't worked on it in a while, but oh my God, she is so freaking funny.
You need some more awful dates so you can add to it.
I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I don't want to. I got too tired.
Dude, I still have never, like, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, at what point am I just going to be like, shit, I got to put myself out there. I don't want to.
I don't want to. I don't know that it's worth it right now.
I don't know.
So fucking weird.
I just don't know. I battle with this all the time because I keep thinking, I'm just getting older.
As we all are every day.
And I know we're not supposed to body shame or whatever, but I'm just going to get, less attractive to people. You know, I'm going to think I'm the shit, whatever.
As you should.
I'm not. I'm joking. I'm like the most self-deprecating person ever. But yeah, I just keep thinking, like, at what point I've heard this before, where when people start to get really comfortable alone, it's very hard for them to commit to somebody. And I think that might be a huge problem with some of our younger people, because people are learning when they're younger, you know, like through their 20s and even their 30s, to live alone or to be alone. You know, everyone's doing some inner work, which I know it sounds like I'm laughing at it, but I think it's great. But people are waiting to find a partner later, which I think on one hand is really wonderful. But on the other hand, I think people just get used to just being on their own and they don't want to share it. And I think because I've done it before, I think I'm in this like unique, it's not unique. I mean, a lot of people are in this position, but I'm so happy being alone.
Right.
And it's like,
and so content.
Yeah. And even when I say that, I feel like people like kind of look at me like, okay, yeah, sure you are. But I'm so happy being by myself that
like, no, seriously, I'm good.
I know. I feel like that's something that some people think that other people say, like when they can't find anybody. So they say they're really good alone. But I'm so happy in my life. You know, I get to be involved with my kids. I'm so lucky that none of them have like moved far away. You know, now with a grandchild, I'm so focused on that. It sounds like I'm bragging. I've got this great group of friends.
No, it doesn't.
But you know what I mean? That I just don't feel like I need to add a person.
It's got to just be the right person.
I guess. But I mean, where's that person going to come from? They're just going to like drop into my lap.
And the likelihood of finding them online with the culture that online dating is right now, like I saw a really funny little meme, but it was so true. It was this guy being like, you're the perfect girl. You bring everything to the table. Da, 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 da. I can see us being super happy. But I'm going to stay online and see if I can find something better. And the whole online dating culture and social media of like sliding into somebody's DMs is it's got so many bad repercussions on so many levels.
Well, yeah, because everybody has so many options.
As soon as
they have so many options.
Yeah.
You know, like why would they settle when they have another option?
Right. Why are you going to commit to someone that, you know, may check all the boxes, but
that's the problem. Nobody checks all the boxes.
Or checks most of the boxes.
Right.
Then you got to work through a couple, which back in the day when you met someone in person or somebody set you up, you're like, all right, like, let's give it some time. Like there's not all these opportunities and distractions. And with online, like you can be on several different platforms, change your location, you know, it's gross. I hate it. That's why I stopped doing it.
Yeah. I feel like
I love my dogs.
Yeah. You just don't like meet somebody. Like, I don't know. I think I met my ex at my work. He was a customer. I mean, I don't have an extensive dating history. And then anyway, I've met one guy at a bar. I met one guy like it was a friend's husband's work party.
Which meeting somebody at a bar used to be like kind of a red flag and like, you met at a bar.
Yeah.
But now actually meeting somebody in person at a bar and then having them continue to be interested is like,
okay. Yeah.
We've actually met and spoken in person.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so daunting to me. And I would be like the worst person on a first date. The absolute worst. I mean, I turn bright red when I'm nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know what to, I don't know. It's just the whole idea of like the getting to know you. I don't like small talk at all. I was just having this conversation with somebody, cause I have a friend who like loves first dates, loves them. He's like a serial dater.
Is he a serial killer?
No, he's just a serial dater and just
Okay.
loves the butterflies and like all of that. But I think because of that, nothing ever lasts very long. Yeah, I don't know. The idea of like going on a first date just sounds awful to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's like definitely my age group, probably. It feels weird. It feels weird to be in your 50s going on dates. I don't know. It just feels stupid.
I don't think it's isolated to your age group. I think it is because I'm like 8 years younger than you, I think.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, 8 years is a lot.
But it's my age group as well. And the men that I know don't seem to have as hard of a time with it because I think they're very different in their thinking in what a first date is and what the expectations are.
Mm-hmm. Like, what do you mean?
They just go.
Like they just want to bang?
Well, I think a lot of them do. Yeah. I think a lot of them go with the hope that that's what it's going to end with. Whereas a lot of women go with the hope that it's going to lead to something, some kind of connection. Right.
Right.
Because at least speaking for myself, I don't go on a first date being like, yeah, hope I get some dick. I don't really care what he's like or what he looks like.
Yeah.
Just as long as he gives it up dick at the end of the night.
Get that dick.
For me, I'm like, that's the last thing that's on my mind. It's like, is he normal? Is he
normal?
Not a felon? Is
right.
he? Does he have all his or most of his teeth? Does he live with his mom?
So your standards are really high, is what you're saying.
They're so high that like I just don't do it.
You're like, at this point, I'm okay if he's missing a couple teeth.
I mean, as long as they're back teeth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, is he a raging alcoholic?
I think you're better at putting yourself out there though.
I used to be. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that I had an incident in 2021 that like kind of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I honestly, I don't want to share my home with somebody.
Mm-mm. Or time.
I don't want to have to worry about like pooping when somebody's in the house.
Right?
Yeah. I don't want to worry about like farting, in my sleep or I don't know.
Or falling off a swing naked.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Well, now you just brought it up.
That was just a hypothetical.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. So I'm sure our listeners, somebody has like read Colleen Hoover books.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't listen to that shit.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now. Verity is the first book that I read of hers. I loved Verity. I loved it. It had this very sinister quality to it, which is what I love. And it ruined me because that's the first book that I read, and none of her other books are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too many, and she's a huge, I mean, she's just cranking books out like nobody's business.
Right.
And so I read Verity, and it had this sinister quality that I loved. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get another one. I've read probably like, I don't know, 10 of her books. And not one has been even close to Verity since then. I don't know why I keep buying them. I was just talking to my daughter about this because she's like an avid reader. And first of all, they're really easy to read. They're like a good, like quick read.
Right. Yeah.
But all of them, like, what's it called? It Ends With Us.
So that's the one I started with, and I didn't get through it because I was like, oh, fucking fuck. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. This
like
is
you
bullshit.
sprain your ankle and a neurosurgeon just happens to be
well, and it's not even that. So this is the thing. She's so popular. I'm like, this is the problem with putting this garbage out there so that women think that this is going to happen to them. It's always, so this is always what happens, right? It's like the handsome man that's never committed. And then,
all of a sudden
he's like a consummate bachelor. And then the woman is, beautiful, but doesn't know it.
And wounded.
Wounded and beautiful, but doesn't know it. These are the ones that I love the best. It's like, not all of us are beautiful and we just aren't, and whatever. But and then, they get together, and then somehow she makes it so that he wants to commit. And I'm like, this is the problem. This is the problem with women, is like, it's just that I've used this so many times, but it's just what was the movie? It was based off a book, and it was called He's Just Not That Into You.
Oh yeah. I love that movie, actually.
I love that movie. And it is so true.
It is.
How women from, it shows, I think in the very beginning, like where the kids, they're on the playground and the mom's telling her like, oh, he's just hitting you because he likes you. Which I've been told, my mom has totally said to me before. And I'm like, I don't, and I think I've mentioned this on here before. It's like, well, my lips stuck to my braces now. I guess he must like me, and it's like the idea that you can like convince yourself that somebody likes you more than they do. And I think I can only speak because I'm a woman who likes men. And I just think that it's funny how you can be like, so sorry, I'm going to stop that thought for a second. I had a friend one time say to me, if you're confused, then he's not that into you.
Yep.
And I think it's so true, because girls will convince themselves, well, but why would he text me? And why would he ask me about my day? Right. And why would he take the time? And it's like, we're constantly under this idea of like, well, he's doing more than just, a booty call. So he must really like me. Right. And it's also a complete mind-blowing thing for women to understand that men can like you and like 3 other women at the same time. Doesn't mean they want to like commit. So yeah, Colleen Hoover. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. Colleen. Colleen. Fucking, you need to get your heart broken.
I know.
Like numerous times, and then come back and write a fucking book. All right, lady?
And you know what? We want more like Verity. I want some dark shit.
Maybe I need to finish it, because I was not able to finish Verity, because I read It Ends With Us first and didn't finish it.
Okay.
Because I was like, this is
then it goes stupid. From It Ends With Us to It Starts With Us. There's
right. And everybody was so like Colleen Hoover. And so then I started Verity, and it kind of started out on the same like trajectory.
Yeah.
And so I never finished it.
No, finish it.
To be
honest. I loved it.
Okay.
Last year.
Maybe I need to read it instead of listen to it.
Yeah, read it.
So that the narrator doesn't irritate the shit out of me.
Yeah. So this is the other beef that I have with the back, like when you're reading the backs of books, right? The little synopsis that they give you is I just finished a book. Cause like, as soon as I start one, I have to finish it. I'm just, I have to, even when I know I'm like, oh man, this is going to suck. So there's been some of Lisa Jewell that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've read some of hers.
Yeah, that I really like. And so I read this one. It's called The Third Wife. And like the back of the book is like, Adrian is an architect and his third wife gets hit by a bus. And, he has to figure out, what happened to his wife. So I'm thinking, ooh, thriller. Well, guess what? Okay, sorry, guys. This is going to be, I'm ruining the book for you.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. It ends
she just got hit by a fucking bus.
She did. She did. She just got hit by a bus. It was an accident.
But
through this journey, but through this journey, he realizes that he's a selfish man, and he thought that everybody. I don't know. I just was so disappointed. I was like, I read this whole fucking book and just found out that it was just an accident. Like, no, it needs to be something really awful. What? I need there to be something very sinister about this.
I just finished, cause I listen to books on my walks.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll do podcasts, but usually I just want something to kind of like zone out to.
Uh-huh.
And I just finished, The Night She Disappeared.
Oh,
which was another one by Lisa Jewell.
I read that one.
Yeah. And it was the second one that I've listened to by her. And while I really like her writing, I don't always love the way she wraps them up. Sometimes I feel like maybe she's under a deadline.
Yeah.
And
they're like, and blah, blah, blah.
And she has to like,
and you're like, wait, what?
Finish the product. And you're like, wait a second. There were so many ways this could have gone.
Okay, this is the other kind of books I can't stand. So, great book. And everybody I've talked to kind of feels the same way. Where the Crawdads Sing. Then they made it into a movie. It was a great book. But the first
It was well written. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I have to say, I feel like the first half of it was painful. Because it was so descriptive. I like books that are so descriptive. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Like, I don't need, every color of the sunset and the sound of the da 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 and the colors of this and the sound of that and the feel of this. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, I get it. But what it almost felt like to me is, and then like halfway through the book, it like takes off and you're like, oh, okay. Like now it's getting good.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they had to go back and beef it up. And so that's what they beefed it up with.
It feels like when you're in school and you're like, you got to write 100-word essay. And you're like, and it's very, 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 it's like
very, very, very,
very, very
important
like
that you understand this extremely important fact that is factual.
Yeah. And all I feel like is like redundant. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get that. Especially, well, I mean, when I listen to books and even podcasts, I listen to them on like 1.5.
Oh my God, I can't stand that.
1.5
where they're like, oh, is that when they're like,
no, it's not super fast, but there's a little bit less of a pause. And I actually listen when I have to, do our posts for our podcast. I listen to our podcast on 2 times.
You're like, I need to get through this shit.
shut the fuck up, Devin.
No, so I have a friend who listens.
To the point.
And Kylie does that too. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she like listens, she'll like take her lunch at work, and then she'll go in the other room and she'll like listen to a book on tape super fast. And I'm like, oh my God, this is driving me crazy. I told my sister the other day, I was like, it sounds like she's watching Saturday morning cartoons in there. It's like, and maybe I'm just not smart enough to keep up.
I think it's just
quite possible.
Maybe that's the speed my brain works at. I don't know, but I can't listen to it on regular speed. It drives me nuts.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Wrap it up with that.
Okay, go see your children for Halloween.
I'm gonna go see a couple of my kids, the kids that want to see me. Screw the other ones. They're out of the will.
Fuck them.
Fuck those kids.
Today. Maybe tomorrow they're back in.
No.
Are you dressing up?
No, I wore a Scream mask today because I was, I just didn't really deal with it. I went to my older daughter has a Halloween party every year. And so last year she has a theme every time. So last year was 80s, I think 80s movies. So we went as Breakfast Club. And then this year was Dead Disney. So I went as Snow White poisoned by the apple. And
I love that. But she does themes like that?
Yeah.
Like, how does she even think of themes?
I don't know. But
I'd be like, oh.
My favorite one that I wasn't even there for, I think it was the first one that they did, was a villain party. And my oldest son, went as Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. And he wore like basically nude stockings where, the part where he has the robe and he opens it and he's got and he had fake nipple rings on.
He's like,
and he goes,
I want to fuck me.
Yeah. He's like, fuck me. Fuck me.
Yeah. I want to fuck me.
That was disgusting. And then, they did one year that was, like carnival, but like evil carnival themed or something. And because Jordan and Kylie both love Halloween. They love it. They're my two oldest kids. And they would, from the time they were little, they would be planning their next costume. My son is an electrician, and he, a couple years ago, built a Boba Fett costume where he was literally, it has like armor. And it had full lighting inside. Like, he always goes all out. And this year for the Dead Disney, he was Pinocchio that had been burnt. So he took like a blowtorch and burnt his whole outfit. And so he has like the little knickers on and the suspenders. And then he built this mask that has this big old nose that was so disturbing. Here, I'll show you a picture of it.
That is so cool to me.
No, he's extremely creative, but I couldn't look at him all night.
It makes me think of that party that you guys went to where you were the dog with the nose.
Oh, when I was 0. Yeah. Dana was, what was Dana? She had I can't remember that one.
I don't know. I wasn't
her
there,
name
but
was.
You guys were.
Oh no,
hilarious.
she was.
It was
No, Brooke was Jack Skellington, and she was the girl,
the bride.
Yes. So,
God, those photos were so damn funny.
Look at Jordan.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, if you're listening, you have to watch.
You have to watch.
You have to go on YouTube and look at this photo. Oh my gosh.
He had liar etched in his mask across the top. And then my son-in-law, Casey, was Prince Charming because Kylie was Cinderella, and she'd been Kylie. I don't have a picture of her. Dang it. He was Prince Charming and she was Cinderella, and she had like the heels stuck in her head. Like she had died from that.
So awesome.
And then my other son, Joey, was Maui.
Yeah.
And I go, Joey, how did you die? And he turns around and he's got like a stingray stuck to his back.
Wow.
So yeah, it was quite the night. It was fun.
Some people come up with the most creative costumes. You guys, if you're listening to this, please send us your photos of your costumes.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Yes. Send us the photos of your costumes. We'll throw them up on Brooke's Instagram with this post, or add them somehow. But I would love to do that because some people get so creative.
My sister was, Fox and the Hound.
Mm-hmm.
She was the fox that had a bullet hole in her forehead. And here's me.
Look at you. Oh, you're a good Snow White.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, you look like her on a daily basis.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I think. I'm all. That's me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Don't forget to
rate, review, subscribe, 5-star rating, 5-star warning.
And we'll talk to you guys next week.